Hello, everybody. Welcome to the second leg of our global flight in Real Flight Simulator. Today we will be flying an American Airlines Airbus A320 to Albuquerque from Phoenix. Okay, let's get started. We're going to take off very quickly since we're going to be starting at the runway for this flight. I'd like to thank everybody who's been watching our videos and supporting us over the past few weeks. We've been working hard to bring you guys good videos, and I hope you enjoy the future content. If you have any suggestions, let me know in the comment, and we're ready to take off. Let's change the time of day. This time we're going to do an early morning takeoff. I think this is my favorite time of day to take off, because I like how the color shows up on the aircrafts, the sunlight. Okay, let's go into the cockpit. We'll get all the ground systems up and running. All the passengers on board.
Flaps.
Okay, all the checklists are being run. Everything looks good. Okay. Almost ready for takeoff here. Everybody, let's go. So, we're gonna slowly increase our engine throttle here. And prepare to enjoy this flight.
Knots.
About to lift off. Rotating. Oh, okay. We're gonna have to restart. Great. This is why I don't like taking off in cinematic view. Okay. Let's rewind. Hopefully this takeoff is going to be more successful.
Flaps.
I apologize for that, everybody. I'm going to be more focused. I'll keep it in a better camera view so I don't get distracted and turn incorrectly. Okay. Everybody's on board. We're ready for takeoff. Let's go. Okay, as you can see, this camera view is slightly easier for me to be in control of the aircraft. It's not going to turn as much on the runway.
80 knots.
If it does, I can take action more quickly. Okay, about to take off. Oh, a bit of a tail strike there, but we're off the ground. We entered into a slight stall there for a moment, but everything looks good. After this live stream, if you want to go back, you can see right about when we took off, the back of the tail struck the ground, and I tend to do that sometimes. It's pretty rare that I do this, but on this aircraft, with the extended body towards the back and the gear more closer to the wings, it's easier to hit the tail against the runway. Okay, let's continue to climb. We're gonna start to turn to the right. as we increase our altitude. I'm going to randomize the failures just to make this more interesting. If I have to deal with a failure, it's going to be difficult because there are only 3 airports in this area in the free version of the game. When you have the pro version of the game, where you have to pay something like $30 a year, you get 17,000 airports, I believe. In this, we have like about 2,000 airports. But in some areas of the world, the effects of not enough airports show up more than other areas. Like here, in the western US, you can see there's only a few airports scattered around in long distances. Like Boise here is far from others. Here in Montana is pretty far from others. And when you go to South America, like here in, I think this is Peru, or maybe Bolivia. Okay, let's turn on autopilot while I explain the rest of this, so we don't crash or lose control. Okay, we're dealing with some warnings here. I didn't realize we went so high up off the ground that quickly. Wow, actually that's extreme. So we lifted off from that 3rd runway, the lights. You can see, so the farthest one is the 1st, the middle one is 2nd, the closest is the 3rd. We took off from that runway that's closest to us, and somehow managed to loop around and reach 10,000 feet while I was looking at a map and not paying attention, without autopilot. Okay, so back to the map. As you can see, it's really difficult to fly from some of these runways, airports I mean, without autopilot or getting bored. You can see there's this one in Chile, that's the closest one, is all the way across the continent in Argentina. This one in Peru, it's even worse. You would have to fly down to Chile or up to Ecuador. In Africa, I think it's the worst situation, actually. They definitely did not add enough airports. I think it's unfair, but, so we have this, most of the airports are crowded down here in South America, crowded up along the north coast, so the interior is almost untouched. It makes it difficult for someone who's trying to fly from, for example, here in Nairobi. If they want to fly to another airport, other than this one here in, Tanzania, maybe? Or it could be the east coast of Kenya, I'm not sure. They would have to fly to Addis Ababa, about 3 hours away. If they wanted to go further than that, the next option would be probably down in Johannesburg or up in Khartoum. Some regions in Asia are similar, especially in Siberia, especially in the Far East. China doesn't have that problem, they're fine. But especially far here in Siberia. And if you're, one of the worst situations that you want to be in is when you have to take off from Alaska. You would have to fly, the closest airport would be all the way down in Vancouver, more than 5 miles away, 5 hours away, I should say. And if you wanted to get to Asia from there, you would have to fly all the way to Japan, which is more than 8 hours. So you don't want to be stuck in that situation. I think you guys can see clearly why I like this time of day the most for takeoffs. You can see, I don't know if it will show up on the poor YouTube quality, but you can see the sunlight makes the front of the aircraft more orange color, and I like that. It's one of my favorite colors, so, yes. We're getting a repeated low speed warning here, but I think we're going to be okay. Speed. We've only flown about 10 miles away from the runway, but we're over 17,000 feet off the ground. So we definitely rose too quickly in this one, but that's not going to make a big difference. Yeah, let's take it off autopilot. We're going to correct our heading slightly, and then we're going to increase our altitude. In about 5 seconds, we're going to increase 3,000 feet. It's nothing severe or crazy, as you can see. Oh, never mind, we're stalling. Okay. Let's try this again. Even with the nose tilted up like this, we're still sinking. This is concerning, actually. As you can see from the contrails, the aircraft is struggling to maintain altitude. We're not even at stall speed. We're actually far faster than normal, and yet we're still sinking. So I think it's time to increase the nose a little bit. Okay, now we're climbing. Okay, now we're climbing pretty fast. We've hit the maximum climb rate of 6,000 V speed feet per minute. Okay, let's relax the nose a little bit. Okay, good. Okay. I would not want to be a passenger on one of these flights. In this video, I'm not really taking things seriously, but if I wanted to, well, for the landing, I'm going to actually try here. One of my best landings, I achieved a landing speed of only negative 49 feet per minute. I've seen people brag about it, about getting negative 300 feet, negative 200, so I think around negative 50 is pretty good for me. Again, with the free version, you only have access to the 3 planes. This is the only real, conventional passenger plane. The other one is like a private jet, and we have one which is a very small, like a turboprop plane, I think. So I'm always gonna go with this plane. If I had the full version, I would probably be flying with the 747 right now. The 747 is good at landings because of the heavy weight. The sensitivity is low. So, see, even when I'm gonna turn my sensitivity all the way down, look, I'm still rising and sinking very easily. If it was for the 747, it would be far more difficult to rise and sink at high speed, which is something that I like. It's better that way, in my opinion, especially for those who try to land as smoothly as possible. So, if you wanted any tips about this game, if you want to try to land and you're not quite sure about how to land softly, the first thing you want to do is you want to practice. Before you do a full flight, you definitely want to practice. So you can go to the map, or at the very beginning, when you're in the main menu, instead of choosing a takeoff and landing runway, you can just choose a landing runway and it will spawn you about 10 miles away. You want to decrease to a vertical speed of about negative 1,000 feet per minute and change that as you approach the airport. You want to make sure that this, here, let's see, this blue thing here that has all these numbers on it, when you are going to land and you set an airport as a landing destination, there will be a green cross near the center of it. You want to aim it so this yellow square is at the center of that symbol. When you do that, you're going to be at the right height for landing. When you want to land, you can check in the pause menu, you can check the VLO landing or VREF landing speed. That tells you the speed that is best to land at. So for this aircraft, it's 133 knots. So typically when I try to practice landing, I would decrease to that speed, 133 knots. And then I would go to land. Another tip, you can set this here in the middle. You can set this one to altitude AGL to show you how many feet above the ground you are. And this one to VSP, which will show you how fast or slow you're decreasing in altitude. So as you can see now, I'm about 3,500 VSP, which means every minute of this flight, I'm increasing by an altitude of 3,500 feet. Always turn your sensitivity down to the bottom if you're going to practice landing. I don't see many people who turn it all the way to the maximum, unless they're newer to the game, they don't know how it works. No offense to those people, but I think this way is a lot more conventional for landing. Okay, let's see where we're at. I don't know what's wrong, but we're struggling to gain speed even though we're not really increasing in altitude. Here I'm going to... Okay. I'm going to set our altitude to remain at 32,000 so we can allow our speed to increase. If anybody here has had the full version before, let me know in the comments. Let me know if it's worth getting it, if it was worth getting it. I'm considering it, but I'm not sure how, whether or not the investment will be worth it. Because really you're only going to get the best value out of it if you play the game very often. So, if anybody would want to let me know, please feel free to do so. You can always comment. I see a few people watching now. Yes, I see a few people watching now, so feel free to comment. And if you have questions, ask away. Okay, we might have an issue here. So I'm looking at our fuel levels. We only have 13% on each fuel tank. If we look at the fuel flow, we're burning about 1 kilogram a second. And we have 2,800 kilograms on board. So we are going to fuel. We're only going to have 2,800 seconds of flight. If we do the math, we're only going to have about... It's gonna be less than 50 minutes, and the estimated time for landing is an hour. We're gonna have an issue here. So let's see. Let me just make sure we can check that here. So in this one, I'm hovering over it right now. I'm doing the engine settings. So this third one, FMC. This is how much fuel on board we're going to have. By the time we reach our destination, it looks like we're not going to have any. So we need to increase in altitude so we can save some of that fuel flow. Okay, so we're going to be rising to 40,000 feet. Let's do this quickly so we can save as much fuel as we can. Okay, this is very uncomfortable for anybody who's on the aircraft right now. Yes, increasing at this rate is not 20,000 feet per minute, but it's necessary so we can save our fuel. See, as you can see, fuel flow is dropping very dramatically. Okay. We're running out of speed, so let's count down this rate of increase a little bit. Oh wow, we already climbed to 40,000 feet.
Sink rate. Sink rate. Pull up.
Okay. So,
Sink rate.
I wouldn't
Pull.
advise people
Sink rate.
to rise.
Sink.
Okay, we're having issues. We're having
Sink
issues.
rate. Sink. Pull up. Sink rate. Pull up. Sink rate. Sink rate. Pull
Okay,
up.
now we're sinking. We're losing a lot of that precious
Sink
altitude.
rate. Pull up. Sink rate.
We lost all that
Pull
altitude.
up. Sink rate.
Okay, we have an
Sink rate.
overspeed
Pull
issue.
up.
We have an overspeed issue and a stall issue at the same time. So let's climb back up to decrease that speed, increase that altitude. Okay, now we're climbing at 30,000 feet a minute. This is not good. We're gonna run out of speed. Almost a vertical climb there. Okay, let's settle at 40,000 feet again, so we don't run out of speed like last time. Okay. We should be fine from now on. I wouldn't advise, like I was saying before, I wouldn't advise anybody to climb above 40,000 feet unless you're desperate to save fuel, because first of all, if we take in the real-life considerations of the game, the real-life considerations of flying, oxygen becomes more difficult to breathe as you climb. I was on a flight, we were flying, a very long distance flight. I'm not going to go into the details, but it was more than 10 hours, 15 hours actually. And there was some turbulence. So the pilots, I was looking at the flight screen. Flight screen looks like this, basically, sitting in the chair. And I was looking at the altitude and I was like, oh, cool, that's interesting. The altitude is rising quickly. And we were at a cruising altitude of roughly 36,000 feet. We went all the way to almost 40,000 feet. And people in the cabin were not very comfortable. You can tell people were breathing faster. So there was not as much oxygen. Even I was noticing this. So that's why you don't want to climb above cruising altitude unless you really need to. I'm sure the pilots had a good reason to do that, but people were uncomfortable, people were complaining, so you don't want to do that. If this was real life, I definitely would not be at this altitude. If I saw my fuel levels were these low, I would probably contact the air traffic control at both Phoenix and Tucson to see if I can return to one of those two. But now it looks like we will have enough fuel. We can check this again. Let's see. Yes. So we're going to have about 2% fuel by the time we land. That's okay. Okay. So far, so good. There are those people in this game who try to climb into space. Some people say that reaching 100,000 feet would be a reasonable goal. You don't want to try that, because what's going to happen, since the jet engines need air, like atmospheric pressure to function, as you climb, you're going to lose performance drastically. Okay, we lost thrust reversers. So as you climb, they're going to lose fuel performance drastically. They're not going to produce enough thrust. The only reason pilots fly at cruising altitudes of about 32,000 to 38,000 feet is to save fuel. If I was flying the same speed on 5,000 feet above the ground, I would be burning about 2 kilograms of fuel. Up here, we're burning a lot less fuel. And also, since the Earth's curvature, if you were trying to drive around the world on the ground, pretending there was a road that would go across the world, you were driving a fast car with like 200 miles per hour. If you were flying a plane that was going 200 miles per hour, the exact same speed above the Earth, it would take less time. The airspeed here, we're going at a speed of 228 knots of airspeed in the air. But on the ground, this is actually 485. So we're actually going this way. We're actually increasing our speed a lot relatively to the ground, which is why pilots fly at such high altitudes. It's a way to save time, energy. Without high altitude flights, a lot of the long distance flights, like for example New York to Singapore or Auckland to London, those flights would not be possible. They would have to stop multiple times. Okay, just for fun, I'm gonna try increasing the altitude. We have built up a lot of speed. Okay, we have a leak. Or maybe not a leak. I don't know if this is visible, but we can see there's like a black trail. Okay, we have an issue with the engine. It's gonna slowly decrease that a bit. We'll bring that performance down. Let's see if we can... So we're clearly seeing smoke or dust or something coming out of the back of the engine. This could be fuel loss, but we're not seeing signs of a leak. This could be those thrust reversers acting up, but I doubt it because we didn't activate them yet. Okay, anyways, let's climb an altitude. I'm gonna go to 45,000 feet. Let's see if it's doable.
Stall.
Why are we stalling at such high speeds? We should not be stalling right now. That's for sure. Okay, 43,000 is near. Oh! Lost an engine. Okay, let's descend a bit. We're going to remain at 44,000 feet. This is ridiculously high in altitude, but that's fine. We need to conserve fuel. At this point, turning back around would not be worth the time or the energy. We're already flying at a high speed in this direction, so that's fine. We've only lost one engine. It could be worse. If we lost another one, our chances of making it to Albuquerque would drop significantly. But I think we still can. We can still make it there. Let's see. So the stall speed is 145 knots, maybe. Let's see. 147. Okay, we're gonna climb in altitude to 45,000. If we can pump out enough energy to make that climb, that would be great. I'm watching our speed very closely. Okay, we're looking at a low speed issue here. So I'm gonna...
Speed. Stall.
Possible stall.
Speed.
Okay, the stall is done. We're fine. Okay, we're at 45,000 feet. We're not going to be able to climb any more. But as you can see here, we're barely burning any fuel. Even if the other engine was active, we would only be burning about half a kilogram of fuel a second. And we're carrying hundreds of passengers through the air. So, that's very efficient considering how... this is definitely more efficient than cars, I believe. Definitely more efficient than cars, actually. Because instead of hundreds of engines running, you would only have 2. This is like a bus, basically. That's why it's called an Airbus, actually. We lost the rudder. Okay, we're gonna have some issues. We're looking at some bad weather ahead. Okay, we're gonna make some turns to avoid that weather. As you can see here, we're going to have 1,200 kilograms of fuel left by the time we go to land. That's a lot more kilograms of fuel left that we would have had if we remained at that low altitude. Okay, let's look at the estimated time. That's weird. Should not be. Oh, I see what was happening. Okay. Okay, we're only gonna have 27 more minutes of our flight. The worst thing that could happen right now is either the failure of another engine from fire or a fuel leakage, or the failure of our spoilers and flaps, because we would have almost no way to slow down. But thankfully that doesn't seem like it's going to happen. We already have 3 issues that we're dealing with right now. So I'm optimistic that we're not going to have to deal with more. Okay? I really want this to be a better landing, but my hopes are decreasing because of the errors that we're dealing with. Does anybody want to see if we can go supersonic? We can be like the Concorde for a few seconds. Should we just, okay, once we reach the TOD flight indicator, and we're about halfway between TOD and FI, I'm going to dive. We're going to try to reach a V speed of negative 50,000. So, in less than a minute, we're going to be at 44,000 feet, going all the way, and we're going to be down at about 5,000 feet. Hopefully that doesn't cause anybody in the aircraft to panic or die, because if anybody's, all the seatbelt warnings have been left on anyways because the engine failure. Okay, we can actually make a fuel transfer here, because the right fuel tank has been burning fuel since the left one failed, so. Okay. So far so good. If anybody has any ideas for upcoming videos, please drop them down in the comments. We would appreciate that. Right now, we have a lot of, we're very energized, but we're out of ideas. Like, we're very excited about bringing new videos to the channel, but we're out of ideas. So, if anybody has ideas, greatly appreciated as always. And even if you don't have anything to think of, you can simply do your part by dropping a like, subscribing. You can join our Discord server. We just hit 50 members, so congratulations to our moderators there. But you can always play a part in the SFS Launch community, subtly or by giving us ideas, either way. We have a lot of exciting new content that we're planning to bring out. in just a few days, actually just 5 days, we're going to be bringing the first episode of our new series, the We Go Now series, the space race, which is a collaboration with Orbital Galactic. We're going to be bringing out some more educational aircraft investigation videos. Another one is going to come out tomorrow. We have some new tutorials we're planning to bring out. Some educational tutorials too. We're going to be assisting anybody with any questions they have, really, in general. It doesn't have to be related to plane or rocket gaming. We have a lot of ideas and hopes for the future, so not satisfied with the speed that we're going at right now in this aircraft. So I think now is the right time to dive. So I'm going to turn up the sensitivity to the max, the V speed. Okay, this is going to be the biggest dive possibly ever recorded in this game. We're going to drop. Watch this V speed indicator. 3, 2, 1. Already at 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, 30. Okay, we lost our autopilot. This is not good. 40,000, 50. Okay, we hit our target. 60. 60,000. I don't think we're... Okay, I think it's time to... Mach 1.13. Okay, we need to pull up fast. Pull up, pull up, pull up. Pull up. Without the rudder. Okay. For a little bit, our speed was actually greater than the speed of sound. Okay, good. That was actually pretty interesting. We had a lot of warnings during that, so hopefully we didn't damage any parts of the aircraft. In reality, if the plane dives like that, it would become ripped apart. The airframe wouldn't be able to withstand the pressure. The air would be rushing past through the front of the aircraft, while at the same time the forces of gravity acting on it. So the pressure from the front, from the nose, as well as the gravity pressure from the tail, would crush the aircraft like a tin can. So, that actually sped us up a lot. Our speed is still far higher than it normally is. Let's see if we lost any significant amount of fuel there. We're still going to have... Actually, that cut, more than 400 gallons of fuel that we're going to need to use, so that's great. We just crossed into New Mexico. So landing will be in roughly 15 minutes, and it's going to be butter. I'm starting to worry about another engine failure right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the failures. So there's still gonna be those 3 failures we have to deal with, including the missing engine. Surprisingly, we're still maintaining a good speed, and we're not burning a lot of fuel. Yes, so we're burning about the same amount of fuel as when we had 2 engines functioning at 36,000 feet. Okay. So we're only about 15 minutes away. Going at the fastest speed I can, but let's see if I can see the runway from here. Well, let's see if the runway can see us. Okay, yes, it seems we're moving pretty fast. Okay, so in about when this says that we have only 13 minutes, 0.13 hours, I guess, until we arrive to our destination, we're going to start sinking in our altitude so we can activate the glide slope. Let's make sure everything is going good. We're going to test our spoilers, flaps, brakes. Everything is working fine. Okay, we're still at a speed of 0.71 Mach. So we're going faster than we were before the dive. What is this? Okay, we had a warning, but it's settled. Okay, we're approaching the landing zone. So if anybody is wondering where we're going to be going for the Monday live stream, next Monday we're going to be flying from Phoenix. I apologize. We're going to be flying from Albuquerque to Lubbock. For leg 3, and for leg 4 we're going to be hopefully flying from Lubbock to Dallas Fort Worth. From there we're going to do a longer flight from Dallas to Atlanta. From Atlanta we're going to be flying to the coast, as close as we can get to the coast. So we're going to be flying to Raleigh, Durham in North Carolina. And then comes the big flight. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. Actually, to chop it up into smaller segments, let's see. Okay, we're going to be flying from North Carolina, and we're going to continue moving up the coast, up to Canada, and then we can make a final hop from here in Canada all the way to Ireland. That's going to be a nightmare of a flight. It's going to be very long, so I don't know how long exactly, but it's going to be like 6 hours maybe? What's going on with the aircraft? Nothing out of the ordinary. We're just flying at almost a totally vertical way. Horizontal, I should say. Wow, we're actually going quickly. Why are we climbing? I thought our autopilot is supposed to be on. Okay, now we're going to start diving because the autopilot failed us. Okay. Let's start decreasing in altitude, actually. Okay, I'm not going to mess up this time, so I'm going to start slowing down now. And I'm going to continue to allow the speed drop until it drops to 200 200 knots. We can deploy the gear from there activate the flaps as needed, spoilers. So once we get to about 0.8 hours remaining, not 0.8, I don't like how they say it here. I'll just say 8 minutes, and 8 minutes remaining, we'll drop we'll activate the spoilers to do an extreme braking maneuver. So it's already 10 minutes remaining. If anybody would want to let me know what kind of livery they like, if anybody puts their favorite livery in the comment, I'll use it in the next video, I promise. We're hoping for comments. Even if nobody does put their favorite livery, for next time we're going to go with, a sky. Okay. 9 minutes away. This is actually a nice view. If you've driven or flown near Albuquerque, this is definitely not what it looks like from mid-air. There's less forest towards there could be more forest towards the west, but if you're going to be to the south or east or even the north areas, there's not going to be too much forest. What's this? Overspeed. Okay, we've actually done the opposite of what we want to. We've actually increased our speed. So we're going to have to do some evasive maneuvers. Right now we're at an uncomfortable speed of 360. Okay, yeah, we can't let this happen. I'm gonna slow down drastically. As you can see, the speed is dropping because I'm using all the maximum braking potential I can. Okay, we're going to continue at a speed of 200. So disable all of this.
Spoilers.
Preparing to drop the gear. So we're going to set our altitude. We're going to decrease to 3,000. So that's above ground level actually, so 7,000 when we say that. We're going to drop as fast as we can to those levels.
Sink rate. Sink rate. Oh, up.
Okay, the terrain just generated, meaning we're close to the airport. Destination is 15 nautical miles away. We only have one chance of doing this right. Okay, let's change those settings to the minimum sensitivity. I don't understand why are we going so fast? Okay, this happens a lot.
Flaps.
Let's calibrate this one more time actually. Okay, there we go. Again. Okay, now preparing for landing. What's the speed? Okay, let's drop the gears
Gear down.
on the spoilers. Okay, I can see the runway. Looking at some bad speed. Okay, we're going to set our speed to 150. Okay, we have an issue again. Gear failed. Gear has failed. There's no coming back from this. So it's going to be a butter, but then we're going to scratch against the ground. And since our left engine, our left gear failed, and our rudder failed, meaning it's going to be very difficult to keep the aircraft tilted to the right. Yes. So what's going to happen is when we land, that right gear is going to make contact first. I'm going to try to tilt as far as I can to the right. Actually what we can do now is alter this so that all the fuel is on the right side. So now when we land, there's going to be a lot more pressure on that right gear than there normally would be, especially with the higher fuel load. As you can see now, I'm actually having a difficult time keeping the aircraft tilted to the left without that rudder. Okay, we have a lot of warnings. Can we land with 6 warnings? Let's see if it can be done. Doubt it, but... Well, I know we're going to land on the runway, we're going to be fine, but it's going to be difficult. That's all I'm saying. Okay, this is actually proving to be more difficult than I thought. See, with a Boeing 747, this would be far easier to do. 4 engines. Even if we lost one on the left, we can close down one on the right and we will be fine. The Boeing 747 can fly with 2 engines. It would be okay, especially if it was trying to land. It would be okay. It doesn't need a lot of engine power to land anyways. Okay. Things are getting tense here. Let's look at the glide slope. Okay, so this is what the green symbol or logo I was talking about. So you want to make sure that the center of that, where those 2 green lines meet, you want your yellow square to be at those. So basically what it's telling me to do now is pull the nose up, increase my altitude basically, and turn the airplane to the left. And as you can see, that yellow square is moving more to the middle. Now it's telling me I can move downwards a little bit, and now it's in the middle. And now it's moving off center again. Okay, that's why. Okay, we're preparing to land. Gonna turn on the logo lights and turn off all the cockpit lights to show that we're in an emergency. It can be seen like that from the ground. Something weird is happening with the terrain. What is this? What is this? Okay, wait. Here's the moment of truth. We're going to drop our speed down to the bare minimum.
400 above.
Hoping for butter.
300. Minimum 200.
Oh, the fuel. The fuel. Pull up, pull up, pull up.
20. Stall.
There goes the remaining gear. Okay, evacuate. That engine looks like there's signs of smoke. Okay, engine 2 has collapsed. Okay, so before you all actually, I'm going to prove to you that I can land butter. Here, we're going to have all those all those failures disabled, I believe. Let's see. Let's see what this is. Okay, all those failures are disabled. And I'm going to show you that I can land butter in a storm. Even better. Even butter, I should say. I can't even see the runway. So, if you're in Albuquerque right now and your flight is cancelled and you're watching this video, that's ironic because your flight probably canceled because there's bad weather.
Glide slow. Glide slow.
Okay, what's the speed? Cut the
Spoilers.
speed.
Glide slow.
Oh, whoa.
Glide slow.
What is this?
Glide slow.
This is what I don't like about the terrain in this game. The airports are higher, so you're not sure. Where's the runway? Oh, here? Okay. This weather is going to make it difficult. I'm gonna land in the normal view. Butter? Yes. In bad weather? Yes.
Spoilers.
6S? Yes. No. Okay, what replay is that? Smooth landing. Thank everybody for watching. Thanks to everybody who tuned in. Please comment, like, and subscribe if you like this video. If you had any things to say, drop it in the comments before the chat is closed. I'm going to end this video as soon as this aircraft lands on this runway. Let's see what it looked like from the of the pilot.
Spoilers.
400 above. Minimum.
Glide slow.
About to land.
100.
Can't quite see the runway.
70. 60. 50. 40. 30.
I can hear the altitude call outs.
20. Retard. Retard.
Not bad. Let's see what it looks like from the view of the runway.
Retard. Retard.
Can that be considered butter? I think safely I can say that was a butter landing. Let's look at it again from this view. Yes, we descended. We waited a bit too long to land.
Retard. Retard.
I think that's a good landing. One last look from the gear view.
20. Retard. Retard.
Wow, that was actually one of the smoothest landings I've ever done, I think. Let's look at the report. Wow. So, that is actually the third smoothest landing you've ever done. So, negative 194 feet per minute. If you look at the flight parameters, it's the center. You go to the second column, the second row. The fifth column to the right, you can see the landing speed. The landing feet per minute. The landing nose angle was not bad. Yes, so
Spoilers.
thanks everybody who watched this video,
Spoilers.
and I'll see you next time for Leg 3. I hope you enjoy it. Until next time, SFS Launch out.